These positive models of masculinity are medicine to our culture. And today I have invited Richard to talk about the sacredness of fatherhood.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My introduction to fatherhood was not smooth. After 25 hours of labor, Susan lay on a gurney in the hallway outside the x-ray room for 4 hours before the tech showed up at around 5 a.m. The machine didn't work, so the tech decided he was going to keep trying, shooting more and more x-rays into my wife and son, until he got it right. I decided he wouldn't. Then the tired old obstetrician who hadn't come around for several hours started describing a cesarean in which he would cut vertically from the sternum to below the navel. I decided he wouldn't. I heard that the bikini cut and Susan would have nothing else. I dragged a hospital administrator out of bed and ripped into him. I learned before Jason was born that being a father includes advocating and fighting for your child. At that point, I was ready to take on a tiger with my bare hands. And I guess I started my fatherhood in the warrior archetype. I was pretty desperate. I had been agnostic since high school, but I threw up my first prayer in 12 years, saying, I don't know if you're there, God, and I'm sorry for ignoring you all this time, but if you are there, I could use some help about now. Immediately, a feeling of peace, warmth, love, and confidence came over me. The tired old obstetrician was replaced by the competent young one. Things started going right, and Jason was born by cesarean section on New Year's Eve. I was aware of the juxtaposition of Jason's being born and something new being born in me. The new year started with a new son and a new relationship with Christ. My life is divided now into 2 parts, before and after that event. That parallel of the fatherhood of God and my role as a father has followed me from there. Not the angry, frightening, authoritarian God of the Old Testament, but God the Father of Jesus, who gives us love, protection, support, patience, correction that is not brutal, and pride in our children. God the Mother, who gives us unconditional love, acceptance, nurture, encouragement, and comfort. Hopefully, we are learning to emulate that model of a loving and raising parent who raises children. I can think of some events that show other aspects of fatherhood. At 3 weeks old, Matthew came down with a life-threatening infection that had in fact killed a baby from this church a week before. Fathering means worry, prayer, and pain. When Katie was born, everything was fine. I went out and bought her a locket for her birthday. Her father would be the first man to give her jewelry. For you fathers who have both sons and daughters, you know that it is different with the daughters. Being a father includes being a sap. There were the soccer games, tennis matches, crew regattas, school plays, and concerts. One Saturday, there were 3 simultaneous soccer games. I learned to project my astral body to be in 2 places at the same time. Fatherhood means being there, providing support. Matthew played bottom in A Midsummer Night's Dream with an ass's head and surrounded by adoring nymphs. Seemed appropriate. There was the Girl Scout, yes, Girl Scout camp out, teaching little princesses how to scrub a one-holer. Fathering includes moments of guilty pleasure. There was the shot when a buzzer beater swished through to win a championship. Fathering includes celebration. There was working 3 jobs to pay college tuition. There was that 3-hour skating recital in which Katie skated for 5 minutes that took place while the Yukon men were playing in the Elite 8 at the NCAA tournament. God of sacrifice. There was coming home at 9 o'clock every night to Jason's waiting for me to do algebra homework with him for the dreaded Mrs. Soames. She turned out to be a cousin, and Jason is now a math teacher. There was the time Matthew called for computer tech support. "What folder are you looking at?" I asked. "It says documents." "Okay, Matt, open the window." So Matt gets up, walks across the room, and opens the window. Fathering includes teaching and laughing my ass off. There was the D in history. There was the call that your child had been busted for shoplifting during a school trip to Disney. Father includes insane pride. That's not right. Fathering includes this. Next is the pride. There was Katie's earning a fellowship in autism that paid her way through graduate school. Fathering includes insane luck and insane pride. Then there were the leavings for college, graduations, and weddings. When we left Jason off 300 miles away at Fredericksburg, it felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. There were tears at their graduations and singing at their weddings. Fathering means letting go. And now there is transition, handing the keys of leadership over to them and learning to admire their competence rather than envying their youth. Not running the show anymore, but stepping back gracefully, learning to be an elder. This is a struggle. Just when you start feeling sorry for yourself because the days of fathering growing children are behind you, grandchildren come. Someone said that grandchildren are the reward you get for allowing your children to reach adulthood. I can understand that. There is more joy in being a grandfather than I ever thought possible. Thanks be to God for the privilege of having children and providing the model for doing it right. Amen.